Hello, welcome to Tuesday. I'm Stacy, and our topic this week is discuss how language affects how you and or others think about gender or just language. Well, I think language in general is very limiting. Not just the English language, but any spoken or written language. A while ago, I tried to incorporate other words from other languages into my daily conversation or interaction, and that didn't go so well. It was a good idea, I think, but it didn't really work in practice. So the reason why I even started doing that to begin with is because I found the English language itself to be limiting. I couldn't sometimes express myself, or I didn't feel I could express myself fully within the English language. Sometimes I felt that there were emotions or states of being, or sometimes even thoughts that I felt I could not effectively communicate in the English language. So I started to look to other languages. And I learned a very, very, very little about other languages, enough to just learn a few words that I found maybe more appropriate. So I would substitute, Finnish or Chinese or French words for some common English words when that English word did not, you know, if it didn't quite fit. So say I was looking for something that was better than, good or amazing, something that was better than that, something greater than that word, or what that word means, I would look to another language to see if I could find something along those lines. I don't know if that's a good example, but I hope you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, I started to do that, and the reason why it didn't work out so well, and the reason why I still felt limited by language, even though I was incorporating other languages into my daily conversation, is because a lot of it was lost in translation. You know, I mean, the only language I speak fluently is English. So, number one, those languages are not natural to me. So, first of all, who knows if I even was pronouncing them correctly or had a good understanding of them, especially if there was not, especially if it wasn't, there wasn't anything like it in the English language. So, there's really not much to compare it to, and I grew up in the U.S. with English and all of that, and there's just such a cultural difference there that I don't know if I even had a correct understanding of the words I was using to begin with, number one. Number two, the listener, unless they spoke that language, didn't know what I was saying. It was gibberish. So, yeah, I would have to stop and explain, and it didn't work. So, again, good in theory, not so good in practice. But I realized after that experiment that English wasn't necessarily the problem. I felt limited by all written and spoken language. Sometimes there are things that I find very hard to communicate through written or spoken word, regardless of the language, apparently. So I do find it to be limiting, number one. Number two, I find it to be even more limiting when it comes to gender, because in the English language we have two um, socially recognized or widely recognized pronouns for gender, and that's male or female, or he and she, so on, man and woman. So, yeah, English itself is very limiting. Now, other languages do have more gender neutral pronouns And we do have gender neutral pronouns in the English language, but um, I mean, really, we have what do we have? We have they, um, which is a little bit awkward sounding to me, though I do use it for a lack of anything better to use. There are a few made up words within the English language that very recent, gender neutral pronouns, but again, it's not a solid part of the language. It's not anything you would find in a dictionary. It's really not anything that people use on a daily basis. So I really wouldn't consider it to be a part of the English language. So, not yet anyway. Um, and we have things like Z, which I think has roots in another language. I'm not positive on that though, so don't hold me to that. Which again, that just has not caught on either, and I also find that sounds very awkward, and I don't know if those gender neutral pronouns that I'm referring to, I don't know if it's because I haven't used them enough, or if it's because they truly do sound and feel awkward, or if it's just I haven't heard it enough. I don't really know, but I find them very awkward, and I have trouble using them in day-to-day conversation. So, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have more gender-neutral terms for people. A friend of mine is actually really good at remaining gender-neutral, regardless of the fact that our language is very limiting to gender. So, for example, I was talking to her about a doctor that I'm going to go see, a new doctor, and the sentence was something like, Dr. Wilson's down the street, or something like that. And she said, instead of asking, oh, is it a male doctor, a female doctor, or instead of saying, well, you should ask he or she, which a lot of people do, but instead of saying, oh, well, when you go to the doctor, you should ask him or her this, instead she said you should ask that person. And she does that a lot. That wasn't the first time I've heard her do that. She's done that ever since I've known her. So she'll refer to someone as that person or that individual, even if after she knows that, that the supposed gender of that person. So even if I told her that Dr. Wilson is a man, oftentimes she would still say, oh, she would still refer to them as a person or as an individual. And I don't know if that's due to the fact that she prefers to remain gender neutral. I never asked her. I probably should. Or if it's just the way she speaks. Maybe that's the way she grew up. But I think it's good. I think that's a very positive thing in my book. And yeah, she's way better at remaining gender neutral than I am, especially when referring to people. I mean, after I meet someone, and unless they state that they are genderqueer or gender variant, I just assume that they are the gender that they are presenting, and I will use those pronouns, he or she. So, which I shouldn't do, but it's, I don't know, I guess I'm lazy. I'm lazier than my friend. So, when it comes to, pronouns and things like that. So, again, I just find it very awkward. Another thing that I'll use instead of, as an alternative to they, is I will use the person's name repeatedly. So Bob went to the store, and then Bob and I went here, and then Bob said this, and then I said this to Bob, and it's very repetitive, and I feel like a broken record doing it, but to me it's better than, calling Bob he when Bob's really neither he nor she. So, yeah, but I really feel that the only two gender neutral terms that I use, three, I guess genderqueer is one of them, but genderqueer is a relatively new term. Again, it's not something I don't think is solid in the English language. I doubt we could find it in the dictionary. But genderqueer, they, and using that person's name over and over. And I will say person or individual a lot, but not as often as my friend I just mentioned. So, yeah, again, it is very limiting, and I feel like I'm repeating now, so I'm just going to stop. So I'm going to move on to the bonus question. which is favorite go-to recipe. I don't really have a favorite go-to recipe. I usually, if I'm not sure what to make or I have just a few odds and ends in the house, I'll kind of throw it together in a pot and hope it tastes good. I mean, I don't throw weird things in there, like, I don't know, like cereal with eggs or something. Not like that, but, you know, I mean, I'll take, you know, say I have some pasta left and I have chicken and I have vegetables and I have some seasonings and I have, or a sauce or something like that. I'll just mix it all together and season the crap out of it and hope it tastes okay. That's usually what I do if I'm not sure what to make or if I have a lot of leftovers or something like that. So, yeah. Alright, so that's it for this week. I hope I didn't ramble too much there. I felt like I was rambling a lot toward the end. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll get a new computer because I'm still having computer problems and I'm on someone else's computer again this week to make my video. So, alright, hope I can get this uploaded sometime today. But, alright, have a great week, guys.